Well, just when I thought hi-rez couldn't get any lower and ruin the game that I once loved any more than they already had, they go and prove me wrong yet again. Sorry guys, it's been a while, but let's talk about this. Hey everybody, Average Gamer here. Look, I know it's been a while since I posted a video. I've had a lot going on between developing my own game and some drama also going on in my family. But with the current outrage going on right now with Paladins, with this being a game that I once played religiously and loved and followed and supported the developers 100%, with everything that's going on right now, I thought it'd be only appropriate that I finally post a video on what I think's going on right now and what I thought has been going on for a while. So here we are, let's discuss this. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard a lot of the outrage going on with OB64 and how a lot of people, almost probably I'd say 90% of the community, is not okay with these changes, and for good reason. Now with this video, I'm not only going to be discussing OB64 and my thoughts on that, but also my thoughts on some of the things they've already done with this game and my personal reasons for actually stepping away from the game a few months ago or several months ago, and why I did that, and what I was already predicting was going to be happening with this game, and nobody really wanted to listen. Paladins has been going down a really dark path for a while now, and it seems that a lot of people were either looking at this with a glass half full kind of mentality, with everything that's been going wrong with the game, that, or they were doing what I was doing and stepping away. Now the difference with that is, a lot of people were stepping away from the game. They weren't making any real outrage. Sure, they'd update their Steam reviews, or they'd update their Xbox Live reviews, or their PlayStation Network reviews, but they weren't really going onto the Reddits and going onto the forums and saying, look, everybody, these are red flags, you need to be paying attention to what's going on. On multiple occasions on both the forums, the Amino, and even once or twice on the Reddit. I don't use Reddit a whole lot, but I actually posted several blogs and articles saying, guys, you need to be looking at what's happening with this game. You need to look at where the development is being shifted to. You need to be paying attention to the patch notes. This is not right how they're treating this game. They are taking what it was and what it was great about it, and they were turning it into a shell of what it once was, just to satiate profits, and that's all they were doing. And the biggest example of this, the biggest red flag for me, was when they introduced the VIP system. This is when both myself and everybody else that was on my team competitively, we all took a step back and decided, you know what, this game is not going in a good direction. There were bugs, and are still bugs, that have been plaguing the game for the last year, even when it was in closed alpha, that are still there and they're not being focused on. Meanwhile, every week we're getting updates that give new skins, new champions, new mechanics that nobody asks for, and they are breaking the game more than they already are. And the thing is, while new champions and new skins are great and new mechanics are great, you want to make sure that your groundwork for a game is set in stone before you move forward with anything new. Because every new mechanic you introduce into a game, if your previous bugs are not fixed, you're just adding a layer. You're just piling dirt onto this hole that you actually need to dig out from underneath of. So, I mean, you're not paying attention to what needs to be focused on. You're focusing on things that can make you money in your microtransactions. And that's why when VIP was introduced, I actually looked at it and examined every little aspect of it and decided, you know what, this is terrible. This is not something that should be a focus right now. This is simply a microtransaction farming agent, and I'm going to step back and step away. And what I mean by that is the VIP is just simply another premium currency. That makes two premium currencies that they've introduced into the game. And everybody defended it, or not everybody. There were some people that were on my side that were also saying, no, wait, this is not a good idea. But the people that were defending it for the reason, well, you don't have to pay for anything. You could just get these skins by winning games and by playing and that. But those people were not doing the math. They were not understanding that in order to get one of the top skins, which is on average 60,000 points, with only getting 50 points per win, that is 1,200 wins. Not even including losses. That is 1,200 wins. You need more than that if you're losing games. With an average of 15 minutes per match, that's 18,000 minutes. That's over 300 hours of just winning. That's if you weren't losing any games. Or you could just pay real money, and you're still spending $10 on a skin. We already had skins that were costing $10. We already had skins like that that people were willing to pay for. Adding VIP was just adding another mechanic that nobody asked for, that was going to cause bugs. It was going to cause problems. Meanwhile, we're getting fewer and fewer bug fixes. I think if you actually go through the patch notes, usually every 3 patches or so, there is roughly 16 bug fixes for every 3 patches. That's 3 patches combined, about 15, 16 bug fixes. And there's usually closer to 50 microtransaction related updates. Now, I'm all for cosmetics. I'm all for supporting our developer. I actually am an Ash main, so like when the Ronin Ash skin came out with that quest line, additionally to get the Sky skin, I was pumped. As soon as that dropped, I bought it on both PC and Xbox. I've got the Founders Pack on Xbox and PC, and I'm all for skins. I'm all for microtransactions when they're just cosmetic. But it seems to be they're making more and more and more priorities on these microtransactions, on these skins, and anything they can do to get money out of the game, that they're not focusing on the gameplay, and that was a huge red flag. And after VIP, like I said, I actually stepped back and was like, okay, I need to see how this plays out before I invest any more time competitively into this game. Now, I was actually posting updates and articles on the Amino and on the forums about all of this as it was happening, and most of the time I was actually met with a lot of toxicity and a lot of people just basically telling me to, suck it up. It's not that big of a deal. It's all cosmetic. And they weren't understanding the big picture. They weren't seeing the big picture of what I was trying to say. It's like, look, guys, if you're going to let them continue to focus less and less and less on gameplay and bugs and focus more on microtransactions and skins and things they can do to take your money, this game is going to die. It's that classic phrase, if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. And that is what has continued to happen over and over and over again with this game. Seriously game-breaking bugs, between the invisibility bug, where if you have a Ceres on your team, when she goes into her astral plane, if another team member uses their movement ability at that same time, they also go invisible. Between the Ash bug, which drives me nuts being an Ash main, where you charge up your kinetic burst and it doesn't fire when it's supposed to. It just fires a regular shot, or it doesn't fire at all. Between the Fernando bug, where your shield just pops up and drops as soon as you put it up. I mean, these are bugs that have been in the game and they have not been fixed at all. Meanwhile, when they decided to try to do the rental skins and stuff in the chests in the PTS, people were mad about that. Within, I think it was 24 hours, they posted a public statement saying, okay, we're going to remove these. We are listening to the community. We're going to remove these. But that was related to microtransactions. That was related to things that were going to make them money. That's why they jumped on that argument so quickly. They jumped on the ability to say, okay, we listen to the community, we're going to take those out. But where was their responses when it come to the Strix bugs that was giving people with epilepsy seizures? Where was their announcement when it comes to the Fernando shield bug that's been plaguing the game forever? I mean, even saying, hey guys, we're looking into this. We're sorry, we are trying to fix it. They're not proving that they're trying to fix anything. I mean, I'm sure I speak for most of the community with this game, but I think if they were to give us 2 or 3 updates of just bug fixes, solid bug fixes, focus on those, maybe a few cosmetics, we would be okay and we would feel gratified in continuing to support this game. But they're not doing that. They're not even showing any inclination that they're trying to fix it. Because when you're putting out a patch every week, and every week you're introducing something new, and it's half the time stuff people are not asking for. People did not ask for third person. I mean, maybe a few people did, but at least a good majority of us never cared about having third person in the game whatsoever. That was just another mechanic. When they put that mechanic in the game, it caused problems between damage scaling when people were viewing from third person to first person, between hitboxes being different. I mean, it changed. It was a new mechanic that caused new problems when the old problems still were not fixed. And on top of that, they introduced things like Vivian. They introduced her. She was super OP, and in response to that, it's almost like they covered it by making something new that was even worse than Vivian with this new Cards Unbound system, which, after the Battlefront 2 controversy, I don't understand why anybody in their right mind would have said, yeah, that's a good idea. We should totally do that. And I know they soft launched Paladins Strike in Australia. I'm lucky enough, I've got it on my phone, well, I wouldn't say lucky, I guess, but I've got it on my phone. I've tested it out. It's got a very similar system with their rune system. You can pay for these chests and you get runes, and that levels them up for your defense and your health rejuvenation and your damage. There's also pay-to-win skins on Strike. Now, maybe they see their soft launch on Strike and see this system working on there and thinking, well, it's okay. We can put that in our game. We can put that in Paladins. But they're not understanding that is a completely different market. Casual gamers on a phone are not the same thing as people playing competitively or even casually on a console or a PC. These are two different kinds of gamers. These are two different demographics. They're not even the same. You can't say a pay-to-win system works on phones, so it's going to work on another game. It's not. It doesn't work with any game. You can't really do it on a competitive game. And to make matters worse on this, nobody from hi-rez has even responded regarding these changes, regarding the negative backlash they're getting. They've not even made a single statement about it. In fact, they were doing a live stream on the PTS the other day, and there were several of us that went onto Twitch and were in the PTS and were trying to engage and have, there were a couple people that were trolling and trying to be mean about it and hateful. And I understand them getting muted or them, getting kicked out of the Twitch stream, but there were some of us there that were legitimately giving mathematical concerns on why this was a bad idea, why this system is bad. Because if you lose your player base, it doesn't matter how much money you're winning or you're gaining from this new system, you're going to lose money. Because most of the players for Paladins were okay with spending money on the microtransactions when they were showing us that they wanted to make a good game for those players. When those players leave, you're not going to make the same amount. Paladins has already lost over 30,000 players since it launched on Steam. And if you go through the Steam reviews, it's insane. All the reviews are saying the same thing. The developers are caring less and less. They're not paying as much attention to the gameplay. They're not fixing bugs. This game was great when it came out, but it's a shell of what it once was. Almost all the reviews are saying the same stuff. And hi-rez are just not listening. During the PTS stream the other day, I was in that chat room and I was trying to engage and trying to ask questions like, why do you think this is a good idea? Why not do something like this? And they would not respond to anybody when it came to actually addressing Cards Unbound. They just wouldn't. They didn't even acknowledge that we were talking in that stream. Somebody could ask, well, what comes in this chest? They'd have a response like that. Somebody asks, well, if we're doing Cards Unbound, what are you going to do for all of us that have level 20 champions and can't earn a champion chest very easily because it's taking so long for us to grind to get to the next level? And we get nothing. We got nothing. They didn't give us a response. They didn't even say we're looking into that. They didn't even acknowledge our existence. And I know when you go on Twitter, you can actually look and see all the people that have started hashtag DeleteOB64 and have it trending at some point in time and are trying to address the developers directly. Myself included, I've actually wrote and said, look, it's not one individual developer's fault. I'm not pointing any fingers at any of you, but help us help the game. Show us what direction we need to take. Tell us who we need to talk to as players, as people that love this game. Point us in the right direction. And we're getting nothing. We are not getting any responses. They're not giving any statements regarding this system. They're not showing any inclination that they're going to get rid of the system, which I find funny because in the actual video introducing the system, they say, we're going to run this for about a week so we can decide whether to move forward with it or not. My guess is the results are in. You should not move forward with this system. And like I said, I know it's been a while since I've made any videos. My channel wasn't really taking off whenever I initially started making videos. And I've had a lot go on. I've had a death in the family. Development for my game started picking up a little bit more. I was able to get more done on it. And so my focus has primarily been on that and my family. So I haven't been making any videos, but with everything going on with OB64, I thought I had to make this video. Maybe somebody from hi-rez would see it and listen to some of the concerns and understand that you need to be cost effective with your game. Your marketing is not good right now. The way you're handling things is not good right now. You need to listen to your players. They are the ones that are buying your products. They are the ones that are paying your bills. They're the ones that are writing your paychecks. And to the developers, I say this to you as somebody else that's also a developer. If you are not happy with what is going on, whether you're being told to do it by your boss or not, you need to understand something. if you make this system and this game dies and goes down the crapper and you are let go from where you are because of something that was not your decision, because your boss told you to put it in the game, that's going to be on your resume. And you don't want to be the next person trying to get another job in the game industry and have the last thing on your resume be, I'm the one that implemented this system that killed this game, whether it was your decision or not. So keep that in mind. Your career is more important than your boss's paycheck. Alright, well that's all I got to say on the topic right now. I probably didn't touch on a lot of points people might have wanted me to touch on. Unfortunately, I just kind of tried to throw this video together while my kids were in school, and it was more of a grab the mic and start ranting about my thoughts on the current situation with Paladins. So if there's anything you would like me to discuss in the future, leave a comment down below. I'm going to try to be more active on this channel. Like I said, I've just been swamped, but it really is I'm trying to make it a priority to get back on here and make videos. Thank you very much for listening. If you like the video, click like. Please subscribe if you can, and I will see you guys next time.
To go even further.